Welcome back everyone to my YouTube channel, and it's another video we discuss another professional body, right? And today we'll be discussing SAIPA. As promised in my previous video, it's we are only left with two bodies, right? We're left with SEMA and SAIPA, so I was like, let me do SAIPA. So SAIPA is a professional. Okay, what does SAIPA mean, right? SAIPA is the South African Institute of Professional Accountants. And what does that mean? It's a body of professional accountants, basically saying that it's accountants that you can trust within the South African space, right? So it's a good solid plan, like instead of your traditional CASA route, right? You're not a chartered accountant, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that it's a good option, right? So advantages of SAIPA and why you should actually consider SAIPA as one of your options, right? Instead of just limiting yourself into like your chartered accountancy. So it's the recognition and the credibility of it, right? So as a SAIPA accountant, you are recognized as a professional accountant, right? It's in the name. So what that means is basically we now get to see you as someone who's actually going to be able to do the work and actually entrust in that work. We can actually entrust you to do that work, right? And that's basically your credibility. So as a professional accountant, CA, be like, no man, you know stuff, right? Secondly, as the broad options that SAIPA has, right? So you can work in tax, you can work in auditing to some extent, please, right? To some extent, and you can financial management and consulting and more. So SAIPA actually opens doors, right? It actually doesn't limit you. So some people have this conception that if you're as a professional accountant, you'll be doing bookkeeping. That's not the case. And the reason being why I said that in auditing to some extent, you are not an auditor, but you work with auditors. So you get, thirdly, it gives you the opportunity to work in SMEs, right? Small and medium entities, and also as an entrepreneur, that's a good base. Like that's a good base. It's like that's a good foundation if you're you're an entrepreneur or you're into entrepreneurship, right? And with it, just like other professional bodies, it has a CPD requirement, which is your continuous professional development, right? So what that basically means that they also offer that. It means that you are continually learning, you're continually developing yourself, you're continually being current with the current affairs, you're continually like on top of your game, right? So it offers that also. I mean, as I said in the beginning, that we consider you being credible, right? So if you are credible, if I come with you with something, with a problem, I expect you to be able to cope with that, right? And if you don't continue learning, you don't continue evolving, how would you know? Exactly. So finally, the greatest advantage of all time, immediately after you've completed your degree, you can go into SAIPA, right? That's the biggest flex. Instead of you having to do your honors, your BCTA, it's like 3-year degree, 3-year articles, I'm qualified, right? So that's the biggest flex of all, right? Because you're saving on resources, you're saving on time. So the disadvantages of SAIPA, right? The downsides of it is that it's not globally recognized. So if you are someone who wants to go international, yeah, that's the downside of it, that it's not a global recognized accreditation or rather a body. And also it's hard. It's hard, but that's just the general thing over all the bodies. Like there's no body which I can say that is easier than the other. And also the assessments can also be tough because you have a body, an exam that you have to write, which is, they call it a PE, which is a professional what is this? I remember. So yeah, you have to write that exam, right? It's tough. It assesses you on your practical things, your practical evaluation. So it assesses you on your things and how you actually how you do, how your knowledge on your work basically, right? And as much as it's just only one test, or rather one board exam, it's still a board exam to a professional body, so it won't be easy, right? So how do you become a SAIPA member? So you need, I briefly mentioned on this, so you'll need your undergrad in a financial related qualification, or a qualification recognized by SAIPA themselves, and you'll need work experience, 3 years work experience, or rather your trainee articles or learnership, 3-year learnership, or like ACCA. You can, if you're already in the field and you're already exposed to the accounting field, you can actually just submit that, and they can actually take that as your experience, right? And maybe they'll probably say that you still have some few competencies that you still have to mark, as in that you are done or you know the stuff, right? So yeah, and so your degree, your learnership, career learnership, your PE evaluation or your professional evaluation, and that is a board exam, and then you apply, right? And it's just that simple, right? So basically you're in a professional body within 6 years or finishing matric or whatever. So yeah, and in a nutshell, now I'm summing up, right? It's a professional pathway which some of us are really looking into, because we're like, hey, I don't have time. It's really studying and studying and studying. We are ready to enter, whether it's a corporate or rather the job market, or rather we're ready to make an impact in the society's lives, right? And as much as a body itself, it has its pros, it has its cons. So do your further research on it, right? And one of my biggest pros for me is that fact that you can actually become tax practitioner in a sense, because you also get recognized as a tax practitioner, and it's like two birds with one stone. I'm a professional accountant and also I'm a tax practitioner, because you get your tax, you can, yeah, the term is slipping me right now, but you see that number that when you actually like get to practice tax, you also get that with your SAIPA accreditation. So yeah, so I hope this video was a bit helpful if you're considering SAIPA, and if you didn't know about SAIPA, now you know, and now you know that there's another option out there. Don't limit yourselves into the society norms, or rather the society expectations. There's something out there for you besides your typical CASA. That's what I always say, right? That you don't always have to just think, when you're thinking accounting, you think CASA. There's something out there for you other than that. So yeah, till next time, cheers.